Good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you're watching, and welcome to Garblag Games. I am Aaron, and I'm your narrator for our continuing adventures in the Marvel Multiverse. I want to thank everybody for watching. Couple of quick administrative notes. There are a couple areas last week where I was playing with the rules a little bit, not quite as rules as written. And I'm going to continue to do that because if I don't think the rules quite meet the superheroic aspect of the game, I'll probably massage them a little bit, let's say. Typically, I'll say that I'm going with the rule of fun or something along those lines to let everybody know that we might be deviating a little bit from the rules. But I want to have some good superheroic fun with these guys, and I'm sure that's what you guys want to see too. So, that being said, we're back in our comic book store. The comics for the new week have come out. And what we've finally been waiting for has hit the newsstands. Issue 1 of the season event, The Cataclysm of Kang, featuring Operation Pendragon. When we look at the cover, we see Hydra agents down in the corners, aghast, and as out of the shining light, we see 3 heroes emerge. Dan, why don't you tell us what the Eldritch Knight looks like on that cover and a little bit about what the Eldritch Knight can do?
Hello everyone, I'm Dan, I'm the Eldritch Knight, and on the front of this cover he is standing stoically, blade drawn back, ready to engage these new enemies that he doesn't know about, but they look very familiar, probably some crossover. And the Eldritch Knight, well, he is a what we would call a walking tank. He doesn't look it, but he's donned in what appears to be magical armor. And appears to be able to take a punch, as hopefully we all saw last week when he was fighting the... Who was that guy again? Was he the Amazing Man?
That was a master man of the battle
Master Man.
axis.
Yes. Yeah, definitely take a punch. But he's standing stoically there with his allies around him, which I will hand over to one of my allies now.
And that will take us to our other Dan. Dan, what does Professor Kronos look like, and what's he doing on this cover?
Well, Professor Kronos is still wearing his 1940s World War II regulation army or navy, I should say, khaki shirt and shorts with a smoking pipe and a dinner jacket as well. And at the moment, he's staring off, looking into the distance thoughtfully, contemplating, and looking and thinking dramatically.
And the third member of Operation Pendragon that we see jumping out of this portal is Roger. Who is it that we see, and what do they look like? Tell us about
it. Sherwood is still wearing his civilian Italian 1940s civilian clothing from his from what they were doing previously to appearing through a portal. But unlike the others who are all standing there heroically, Sherwood is kind of mid-cartwheel, flipping over the top of the other two while firing his bow.
Nice. That's fantastic. And then in the bottom right-hand corner of the cover of this comic, we see 2 other figures, Lodestar and Kingdom Quake, as they're tackling this green-haired man that we recognize as Trevor Fitzroy as they fall through another portal that Trevor has just opened. And at the bottom of that corner, it says, "See issue 3 of Operation Pendragon for the adventures of Kingdom Quake and Lodestar, lost in time." We open the comic up, and the first few panels is a recap. For those of you who didn't read Operation Pendragon, we see our heroes back in 1943 on the Isle of Rhodes as they fight against members of Battle Axis in an attempt to free the Union Jack from their wicked grasp while thwarting the plans of a time traveler named Trevor Fitzroy. You see a couple of scenes of battle. Then you see Union Jack screaming up at him, "Don't let him get away," as a portal opens. And our heroes dive through it in pursuit of Trevor Fitzroy. The next panel, you see them stopped in this time bubble set outside of time talking to two members that they've never met before, but our reading audience is familiar with, the Iron Kid and the all-new Wasp, as they explain that they've been searching through the timelines trying to find Operation Pendragon, variants in the multiverse who have no other likenesses across all of the multiverse, who are key, perhaps, not only to saving their Earth, but Earth 616, where they are going to, and even perhaps the entire multiverse. They said, when you get through, stop Trevor Fitzroy. Be the heroes you were meant to be. And then you will be met by someone who will help you out. You are lost in the timelines, and you never seem to return to your Earth, to 1943, but you are key to saving the multiverse. Then we see the heroes falling out of this giant portal in the middle of a courtyard filled with crates and old tables. Right in front of them, they see Trevor Fitzroy jump to his feet, pulling back, starting to weave another portal open. Kingdom Quake and Lodestar, recognizing the risk of losing him, immediately move to tackle him, and the three of them fall through the portal. At that very moment, a second, smaller portal opens, and a woman walks out. She's got a golden mask on and long black hair, wearing a kind of off-white bodysuit with a submachine gun in her hands. She looks around. She sees the figure who had just fallen out of the portal, the one who told Operation Pendragon that they must close the portal before he comes through, the individual who looks like a slightly older Captain America. You see Madame Mask look down and fire one round into the back of his head. As the portal behind her fades, you see the other operatives that came through with her. It looks like a scientist and some other field agent, but behind them is a giant metal warrior in armor. What you notice amongst of all three of them, though, are the clear stamp of Hydra upon them. Even across the multiverse, everyone knows the Hydra symbol. At that moment, she looks around, Madame Mask surveying the scene. I don't know what's going on here. Secure the machine. Ensure the portal is stabilized. He must be allowed to come through. She's speaking over her shoulder to the Hydra agent that looks like a scientist. I'll keep them off your back. You armored buffoon. Ensure the thieves do not interfere with our plans. And with that, we are going into initiative. Dan, I went ahead and rolled initiative for Professor Kronos. Are you able to get into your character sheet?
Yeah, character sheet and map now working, boss.
Okay, perfect. The top of the order.
I'll stick with your roll if I may.
Absolutely,
that was really good.
Absolutely. At the top of the order, we find the Eldritch Knight. So what you're looking at is, you see right in front of you, basically 10 feet in front of you, this armored Hydra agent. He's in heavy metal plate. You can hear the electricity and energy pulsing off of it. It's like nothing you have seen before. In the closest would be a couple of the old battle access armored warriors that you'd fought in the past, but this armor is much sleeker, much more the technology is clearly much more advanced. Behind him, about 10 feet behind him, you see the woman who was speaking, Madame Mask, and this other Hydra agent who are moving over towards the consoles and conduits that are connecting to this portal. And then trying to, looks like flanking around you is this other Hydra officer who's in nicer kit, carrying an automatic weapon himself. What would you like to do?
Well, obviously standing heroically, I shall say, I don't suppose you could do something about that portal, Professor Kronos? And as he says that, he's going to sort of like jump into the middle of the pair of them. And then he's going to be like, you picked the wrong day, gentlemen. Back to where you came from now. and he's going to attack them rather aggressively.
Excellent.
So I'm going to spend 5 focus and do combat trickery to get my Marvel dice
Wonderful.
straight off the bat. And then I'm also going to use my ability of fast attacks so I can attack 2 enemies.
Nice.
So now allows me to roll a dice. And I shall edge that free. Obviously, the 5 in the middle is a Marvel dice straight away.
Mhm.
So 18.
All right, 18 in total. Against his agility defense, for both of them, let's see. One is definitely a hit.
Would it not be against their melee defense?
Or against their melee defense, sorry.
Fire
Still,
melee.
both of them are both of them hit.
Excellent.
So what kind of so it's half damage to each of them, right? Well, because you got
no.
a success, it's full damage.
Yes, it's full damage to each of them, and they both gain the bleeding condition.
Fantastic. Okay, so but as you're doing that, as your sword comes through, you see this armored knight react to it, and his arm comes up, and you see this rotating cannon around his wrist, and he fires it at you, point blank towards your chest.
Ouch.
All right, let's see how he does here. Not necessarily the best, but we're gonna give it a shot. Does a 16 hit your vigilance defense?
Oh, my vigilance defense. Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay, so you take 20. Hold on.
No, I'm sturdy too.
Hold on. It's not against your physical. It's against your focus.
I have no additional defense on my focus.
But you still get your defense modifier against it. So what is your multiplier?
Sturdy 2. So -2.
Okay, down -2. Okay.
So it'd be 14 damage instead. Is that right? Because it's 4.
Yes,
it'd be 2 times 4 when it. Yeah.
Yep. So you take 14 points of focus damage, and since you took focus damage, you're stunned for 1 round.
Oh dear.
And for everybody at home, what stunned means is you can't take any additional action. So you can't take, you've already moved and you've already taken your standard action, but you cannot take any reactions until your next turn.
Cool. Radio.
Yeah, but you did. So how much damage did you do though?
I did 23 damage to each of them. Oh no, sorry, because it'd be 6, wouldn't it? Because the Marvel dice counts as a 6, so it would actually be 6 times 4, so 24 plus 3s, so 27 damage each, and they both can have the bleeding condition. Not that I'm sure I can give armor the bleeding condition, but my attacks do give bleeding conditions on the Marvel dice.
Your attack got through, so we are going to apply it just as if. So you basically, what it looks like is your magical blade cuts through a section of his armor, and you see it go. I mean, you cut it. You just peel it apart like a tin can and go deep into his rib cage. The other agent, the Hydra agent, the scientist, he had virtually no defense against your strike, and he is bleeding profusely and looks horribly wounded.
Wunderbar.
But you are now stunned.
I am now stunned.
And that brings us up to the Madame Mask. So she sees you leap into this, recognizes the incredible threat you pose, not just to her team and herself, but to her mission. And what you see is she brings her submachine gun up, but then drops into like an attack stance. Like you could see that she's fully focused now and prepared to react. So that's her action. She is not going to take any. Well, no, she does take her move action. So she moves back to the machine, drops into her attack stance, but is saving her reaction. The Hydra agent, recognizing that you are back on your heels and slightly stunned by the explosive rounds striking off against your magical armor, pulls back himself to the machine, limps back, bleeding horribly, to attempt to stabilize the machine and stabilize the portal like he was ordered to do. At that point, Professor Kronos, it's your turn.
I think it's time to break stuff. This machine, what does it look like?
So it's give me a logic roll. Difficulty
Ooh, exciting.
difficulty 12. If you get better, you'll get more information.
Sorry, a logic roll, did you say?
Correct. It's a non-combat roll, so you just should be able to hover over the non-combat and then hit that, and it should roll it for you. Oh, 16. Fantastic. So you're looking at this machine. You can see that there's basically a giant ring that is providing structure for the portal, basically anchoring it. You understand, you can even feel the temporal energies coming off of this, but it's similar to the temporal field that you're used to feeling, but the reason it feels the same to you is because you feel the pull coming from another Earth. And the Earth you recognize, the resonance that you recognize is from your own Earth. So this portal is to your own Earth, to the planet, the Earth you come from, but in a different time. The consoles and controls you see around the device clearly allow them to tune it in and focus it and stabilize it. There's also conduit running off that you see at the back of it with that 16 that you think looks like it's spliced into a power trunk for the city.
Right, okay. I would like to try something, and I'm not sure if it's an extremely abusive use of the power of time travel.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me if I can't do this, because I've got a backup plan. Is it possible to time travel back in time to, say, a couple of days before and fiddle with that where the power junction is, set up a remote kind of deactivation button, travel back to when I am, pull out the device, and then just switch it off?
Of course, absolutely. That's goddamn brilliant. I love everything about that. So,
Okay, cool.
So what does it look like when
wanna-
Professor Kronos, what's he look like when he opens this time portal and disappears?
Professor Kronos looks thoughtful a moment. He takes his pipe. He, gets the bearings of the room. He then disappears in several wavy 1960s, 70s bad special effect. He then reappears. Yes, exactly. He then reappears in the exact same spot. He looks a little bit more. He's got oil on his face. He's got some cobwebs on him as well, because it looks like he's been, tinkering with technology. But he's got a bit of a mischievous smile on his face. He then pulls out this kind of what looks like a metal cylinder with a button on it, and then just presses the button, and it trips the box.
Well,
the power jump, that's where it is.
What's going to happen first? We're a little ahead of ourselves. So the first round, you disappear to 2 days in the past, and then we're going to see if you manage to jury rig this.
All right, yeah, okay.
And then we'll come back. So you sit there for your standard action. You're looking over the machine. You're figuring things out. For your movement action, you disappear. Next round, we'll see how you do with tinkering with the portal in the past.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. So you guys see Professor Kronos just fades away with a mischievous smile on his face, bringing us to Sherwood. Sherwood, you see the Eldritch Knight engaged in combat with this armored Hydra agent. You see the woman who was giving the orders fall back, and you see a heavily bleeding scientist at the machine. Professor Kronos has just disappeared.
Okay, I am going to shoot the scientist because we need to stop him from opening that portal.
Well, the portal's still open. He's trying to stabilize it. But
need to stop him stabilizing the portal.
Fantastic. And you guys do notice that the portal is starting to glow red at the center. as if something is
That's never
coming.
a good start.
No, it's never a good start.
Okay. How far is, or what's the range on each of these squares?
5 feet.
Okay. Fantastic. In which case,
You're like,
I can use sniper,
absolutely.
which I definitely remember what that does.
I think you have trouble with the shot, but it does triple damage.
No, it's all. Oh yeah, it's basically if I get Marvel, I get triple damage instead of double. So
Yep.
I will shoot him.
Okay. What's it look like when this arrow goes sinking into this guy? And how much
there we are.
damage do you do? Oh. Okay, even better.
So 21 to hit him,
Okay.
including. And all right, so I mean, do I kill him? I mean, am I describing a kill shot or
yeah,
okay?
yeah. I mean, you put him down. It might be not killed him. I mean, we frown on killing, but you definitely put this guy out of the
definitely wound him. Okay,
I mean,
so
you can kill him. I mean, you can do that. That's okay if you want to.
Is he wearing a helmet or a hat or anything?
Yeah, he's wearing kind of a cowl, the standard Hydra cowl with the big yellow eyes. You know, it's slightly reinforced. Maybe
all right,
like
so he's got like goggles and things.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to hit him square in the goggles that hits with such force that it actually just knocks him out cold and somehow doesn't kill him despite being an arrow.
No, I like it. So the arrow comes by. You've angled it so it creases the side of his head, giving him a concussion. Knocks his goggles free, and he goes falling to the ground unconscious. Just like the old classic Avengers pulp novels with Ike and Mike. The guy make those shots and crease people's skulls to knock him out. That makes me smile. Completely unrealistic, but it was a lot of fun, and comics. They don't have to be too realistic. So that was your standard action. Do you want to
my move
and your move action? So you're going to hold on to your reaction, I'm assuming. Bringing us to the armored Hydra agent. So with his movement action, you see these repulsors on his boots flare to life, and he flies straight up into the air, about 20 feet up, and he's looking down at everybody. He's already taken his reaction for this turn, but his action is, you see this glowing, this chest piece begin to glow, and then this god-awful burst of elemental energy, this electricity comes shooting out at you. Gets an edge on it, and you see he's pushing everything he's got into it. So for everybody out there, this is elemental blast, so he gets an edge on the attack, and for every 2 points of focus he spends, he gets to do an extra 1 point of damage. So just for everybody's information out there, I'm going to spend 40 points of focus. So if he hits, he's going to hit hard. But that's if he hits. What is your agility defense? Sure, but I'm assuming it's pretty high since you're an archer.
Yeah, 17.
17. And an 18 balls. And a marvel. Holy crap on a cracker.
I'm out.
So that's going to be double damage. So you take 30,
you gotta
50.
My reroll won't save me from that.
You take 100 points.
I think I explode.
Nah, it's not a death thing. How much hit points? What is your points though? Where you sure would? Oh, you've got 60.
No,
30.
Yeah, I've got 30.
So this blast of electricity hits Sherwood, and he begins to shake and twitch and crisp a little bit, and then he falls unconscious on the ground. Now, I will say this as a reminder to everybody: when your turn comes around, you can spend a point of karma to regain health or focus. as heroes, and even you can do that even when you're unconscious, because we're always seeing heroes jump up from the battle even after they've taken a horrible hit. So at the moment, Sherwood is unconscious on the ground, shaking and slightly crispy, bringing us to the Hydra officer up here at the top. And he's looking at the battlefield, and you see him. He starts talking, goes, "All right, Hans." And he's looking up at the armored knight. He says, "Continue to hit them hardest. Take out this knight. Madam Mask, your agent's down. You're going to have to stabilize the equipment on your own. I'll move to assist." So for everybody out there, what he did was, for his standard action, he used a battlefield manipulation ability. Hold on, let me get it up there. Called Battle Plan. So what that means is, up to a number of allies, up to his vigilance, he can inspire as long as they're within earshot, which gives them an edge on all actions until the start of his next turn. And then with his move action, he moves over here towards Madame Mask to assist her. Bringing us back around to the Eldritch Knight. You just saw Professor Kronos disappear. You saw your pal Sherwood get crispy fried by this armored agent. He's lying on the ground, shaking. You almost see him start to discorporate, almost as if his essence is being pulled back into Avalon by Great Britain itself to reconstitute him. But his willpower is strong enough to hold his form here for now.
The big armored guy is flying above me right now.
He is flying above you.
Okay, well, I can't do anything about that because I can't fly. So instead, I'm just going to go, right, tally ho, chaps, chocks away. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to kill or attempt to dismember the agent guy, the officer, trying to lead everything.
Uh-huh.
Whilst also being very close to Madame Mask, that she can't ignore me and start doing stuff with equipment.
That's fantastic.
Gonna hit the chappy chap. Oh, would you look at that? A Marvel dice. Marvelous.
Holy Hannah, that is pretty marvelous.
And I'll just it's still a 2 though.
Okay.
16 on their melee.
On their melee, 16. That's a hit. That's a solid hit.
Excellent, wunderbar. So
that
that'll
was
be double
a Marvel
damage.
Die, so that's
So
okay.
54 damage, and he has the bleeding condition if he is still alive.
He is still alive, but once again, this guy, he was of sterner stuff, obviously. He was an officer, but he is looking horribly maimed himself. You describe what it looks like when you
So he kind of comes in and because he's just seen the guy order him and stuff, and even tell this lady who, at first, the Eldritch Knight assumed the lady was in charge, but obviously this guy's in charge. So it's very much like trying to cut the head of the snake. So he kind of runs across to him, blade sort of bared. He probably sort of tries to dodge it or get around it. And as he does, he's going to just bring his blade and he's going to catch him underneath the armpit and just nick him across his chest quite violently. The Eldritch Knight doesn't have necessarily the heroicness of not killing people, because he's a knight from ages gone past. He's probably killed a lot of people, so he's not so upset about killing people if it's for the greater good. So yeah, so he's going to have this big old slice across his chest from armpit to armpit, basically.
And you see it. You see the blood just gushing out and starting to run down his chest. And he looks down. He looks at you and he looks down at himself, and he realizes in that moment that this is probably his last day on Earth. And you hear him whisper, "Hail Hydra." Bringing us.
Nope, can't have that.
Bringing us to Madame Mask. So she's seeing her agents, and she's like, you hear her mumbling, "This can't be happening. I can't fail here. They won't let me fail here. I've got to stop this somehow." And so in her attack stance, she is going to she brings up her machine gun, feeling inspired by her now nearly dead officer and her own incredible skills with her signature weapon. And she sets to she just fires down on the Eldritch Knight in an attempt to take him out of the fight. What, and you're sturdy too, right? So it reduces her multiplier by 2. Oh, she got a Marvel die.
That a hit.
And she's got a double edge, so we're gonna see.
She already hit me, so she doesn't need to do it, does she? Because she's already got the best she can get
She
in
hit?
terms of
Okay.
doing damage.
Yep. Okay, so she got the Marvel dice, but it's not quite that level. So it's 6 times 2.
Yeah.
12, but she is in her attack stance, so it's +6. So that's 36 points of damage.
Lovely job.
As her rounds strike into and through your enchanted mail.
It's fine. Just had to do some quick math there to work out exactly how many hit points I had left.
And she's not moving because it puts her she's in a precarious position. You kind of got her pinned in. She doesn't have an opportunity to work on the machine. But at that moment, you see this red glow is now close enough that you can discern a figure. It looks like the Red Skull, but he's completely scarlet, and he's on some kind of scarlet board, and it almost seems like red blood or something is pulling off of his body as he moves towards you with incredible speed. And you hear her say, "The Crimson Surfer will be here momentarily, and all of your resistance will fail."
Righto.
Bringing us around to the dead Hydra. Oh, hold on for a second. My computer just decided to have a sad conniption fit. Okay, we're coming back now. Back to the Hydra agent who is dead. Professor Kronos. You are now 2 days in the past. You see this machine being laid out. You see a couple of people dressed as city workers, and they seem to be hooking it up. What do you do?
Well, is it possible to get to the power junction box without being discovered from where I am?
Give me an agility check for your movement, and we'll see. They're not focused on you, so I'll give you an edge on it because they're focused on hooking this up. So you'll get an edge, and it's just a difficulty 12.
I believe in you, Dan. Edge the 2. Edge the 2.
Oh no, I edged the middle one.
You already had a marble dice. You didn't need to edge that.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
There you go.
All right, 14. 14 with the Marvel dice, so it's a fantastic success. So you easily sneak past them. Their heads don't even pivot. They're so focused on what they're doing at this machine that you're able to quickly get to the power junction box. And with your Marvel dice, that fantastic success, I'm going to say that the junction box is open, and you can quickly see where you can enable your device where it will be hidden from the eyes of the others. Excellent. And allow you to accomplish your task. Just give me, so that was your movement. So give me your a logic roll, DC 12 to put in your device.
Can I blag a edge with my inventor or gearhead traits?
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Not that you need it.
Oh my god. Another Marvel dice and a 21 in total. So yeah, we just see Professor Kronos sitting back there looking at his pipe, smoking his pipe, slowly manipulating this thing, completely wiring in this device that is absolutely going to destroy this portal. Button up the box and just saunter away. And these two obvious Hydra agents who are disguised as city workers, never even notice your presence. bringing us around to Sherwood, who is unconscious, but if you have a point of karma, you can roll to see if you can recover enough hit points to get back on your feet. Really, any hit points will get you back on your feet. So,
I mean, if I do, can I do anything, or will I literally just get a couple of hit points back and then sit there?
you'll get your full turn.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I may as well.
I'm not
Spend a
another
point of-
bastard. So what you do is you spend a point of karma, you roll your resilience, and as long as you get over a 10, you get hit points back.
Well, let's give it a go.
14.
Oh, yeah, 14.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you got a 14, so you get, I'm going to double check this, but I'm pretty sure it's your score, the sum of your score times your rank. So let me just double check. That's page 19 for the rules. I had a feeling this might come up today. Yep. So you get back your rank 2, 28 hit points back, and you become conscious. Basically, the energy, the power of Avalon, the will of Great Britain has forced the avatar of Robin Hood back to his feet, and Sherwood surges up. Your movement action you'll have to use your movement action to go from prone to standing, but you still
do I have to?
your...
Can I stay on
No,
my
you
back?
can shoot. You can stay totally prone and do whatever
Okay,
you want.
yeah, that guy that zapped me is going to get an arrow right in the throat. He's not playing anymore.
I love it.
So yeah, I'm going to use sniper, and I am going to also use, what's that other thing I've got called? Where's powers?
Combat trickery by any chance?
Combat trickery, to make that guaranteed a marvel. And I'm also going to spend 30 focus.
Nice.
To add an extra 30 damage on top of that.
Nice.
Because screw that guy right in his face.
That's fair. That is fair. All right.
I already
Marvel
got
die.
a marvel. Oh, that's annoying.
That's okay.
That's
Still.
what happened to me last week.
So that
there we go.
is...
I used one of my edges to make it 6 marvel 6.
It's a super fantastic one.
That is the ultimate fantastic success. Now, this is a house rule for everybody out there. This is a rule of thumb. When I look at the ultimate fantastic success in the book, I don't think it gives you enough for getting a 6/16 in combat. So for all my games, I triple the damage. So with your snipe, it was already going to be double damage, right?
No, triple.
Nope, triple. So we're going to do quadruple damage for Raj's arrow. I mean, for Sherwood's arrow. So
does he have a...
So it does not have any
thing?
damage reduction. Nope. No
okay,
damage
so
reduction.
6 times 4, 24, 29.
No, 6 times 6. 6 times 6, because the Marvel die, it counts as a 6. So it's... Oh, your 4 is for your... Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so 6 times 4, 24, 29. Hang on.
30, 100.
I'm going to use a calculator. No, because
116.
I've also spent a lot of focus.
Oh, how much focus did you spend?
30, 29
Okay, so that's 15.
30.
Well, it's half
times
that. It's
4,
focus.
236 damage.
It's half the focus you spent, so it would be 15. Yeah. It's 2 for 1. So 29, 39, 44 times 4.
176.
Okay, so what does it look like when you decimate this guy?
So basically, Sherwood kind of breathes, coming to, looks at him, you just see his eyes focus on like the the gap in the armor around his throat, lean up, launch an arrow that goes through his throat and out the back, blood just gushing out the back.
And what you don't realize is he's neurally connected to his armor. So you shoot through it and you hit that neural connection as your arrow passes through it. And it basically causes the armor to self-destruct internally. And
just to clarify, my bow does 1 point of damage per point of focus I spend if I get a marvel.
Oh, okay.
So it
That's
was
right. It's your iconic weapon.
276.
Okay. So yeah, so it goes through, and you just see it's almost like he instantly cooks from the inside out, and his armor just explodes into dust. Blood and dust flies out after you destroyed that neural port with that incredible shot. Clearly, the spirit of Great Britain was agitated. And blood and flakes of armor fall like snow upon all of you as we move past the dead armored Hydra agent. We move to the Hydra officer, who himself bleeds out as he's attempting to stop the machine. Bringing us back around to the Eldritch Knight. You see right in front of you is Madame Mask. At this point, she looks around at everything. And she drops her weapon and puts her hands up.
Fabulous. I was about to say this is your opportunity to surrender.
And at that very moment, Professor Kronos reappears next to you, strikes the button. You see now that this Crimson Surfer, his face has just pierced the portal as Professor Kronos blows the machine, and the portal collapses around this figure and sucks him back into his own dimension, wailing in fury as his plans are thwarted.
Crikey, that was rather dramatic, chaps, wasn't it?
And then some. Nice timing, by the way. Certainly show those
He
Jerry.
gives you this look of, are you actually joking using the phrase?
So in the aftermath, the machine, as this portal collapses, because of how it was collapsed, the machine itself burns out. Electrical fires arc across it. It explodes. The body of this armored Hydra agent is still falling like snow around you. The corpses or unconscious bodies are laid about you, and Madame Mask has surrendered to you. And at that point, coming up the courtyard, you see a tall black man, bald with an eye patch, wearing a long black trench coat, and he's doing a slow clap as he walks up.
I mean, not knowing who this person is, the Eldritch Knight instantly changes back into a defensive stance and puts himself between the group and this new adversary that's just turned up.
Whoa, my friend. You don't know me, but and I don't technically know you, but I've heard a bit about you. My name's Nick Fury. I got a kind of strange story to tell you, but based on what I just saw, you probably have a strange story to tell me too. Now, we don't have a lot of time, but I've got somebody who's going to be coming by to help us out, help us clean up this situation, hopefully, before New York City's finest arrive on site. Now, about a month ago, an associate, well, yeah, I guess I'll call her an associate, a young lady by the name of America Chavez shows up at my safe house with two friends of yours, or at least two acquaintances of yours. I don't know them, but, well, let's say I know who they are in my world, but I didn't know this pair. You might have, though. Nathaniel Richardson and Nadia Van Dyne, the Iron Kid and the all-new Wasp. Well, regardless, they said that they had found you and that you, Operation Pendragon, your other two associates, wherever they disappeared to, that one or all of you were key to saving our Earth, your Earth, maybe all the Earths. Now, I know who they are in this world, and I know America Chavez, and she trusted them, so I trust them. They told me to show up here at this spot, at this time, on this day, and then I would get an opportunity to meet the so-called potential saviors of the multiverse. And by God, here you are, just like they said.
Well, sword goes into a sheath. That's so crazy, and I actually mildly believe it, given the fact that we've been thrown halfway across time and space, Professor Kronos. He kind of looks reassuringly over to Kronos to see if he's saying the right thing.
Professor Kronos has frankly ignored the entire conversation and is concentrating on what's left of the contraption. But he'll look up from what he's doing, like pulling out circuit boards and stuff, and goes, time, space, and dimensions.
Thank you. Missed that one. Yes. So, sure. And I remember meeting that weird wasp person and that other person because they stopped us while we were traveling through. He kind of looks around to see if there's more portals, and it's like, no more portals. Hi.
Well,
and as he says, sort of says hi in a more relaxed tone, the armor. He no longer feels in danger, and therefore the armor reacts to that. Lance Claymore.
Sticks out his hand.
Lancelot or Lance. I've got boy many names, but Lance will do for now.
Well, Lance, call me Nick. I'm a little more informal these days, but that's water under the bridge. We'll talk about it another day. So what I've got, and he holds up this slim silver-colored bracelet, and he flicks it over to you, Professor Kronos.
Catches it.
Now, the kid said he'd been working on that for months after he met you. Don't ask me. Temporal mechanics. I know. You just got here. I saw him a month ago. He saw you guys just now, but he was working on this for months. It just gives me a headache. But he said that if you wear this because of your own connection to temporal anomalies, that when the specific temporal and spatial vibrations that are caused by incursions from your world happen, the bracelet will react to that and you will know where it's happening. He says it's critical that when these incursions happen, that you, at least some of you, are there to respond to it. He says by being the heroes in those situations, that's what might save the multiverse. I don't know. It's got some weird energy readings, but I don't. None of my guys could understand it. Even Stark thought it was weird tech, but he says it'll work for you.
Fascinating.
And at that point, you see another woman walking up, and she is in a kind of a uniform of sorts, kind of a bodysuit. She's got a badge on. She's got long black hair, but it's pulled back in a bun. And Nick doesn't even turn his head. He goes, Maria, appreciate you coming. She just looks over, and you can tell there's some tension between the two of them. She goes, Nick, you're supposed to be retired, but looks like you've got a problem that needs handling. She goes, I don't want to know who your friends are, but we'll take Madame Mask off your hands. She's got a cell waiting for her at the raft, and we'll question her to see if we can figure out what she's doing. And Nick just says, well, the CIA is more efficient now than it used to be now that you're there, but she doesn't say another word. She just looks over at you guys. Do you mind if I take this terrorist into custody?
Absolutely.
And so she just takes her away. You see a couple other guys in black suits come over and help. And they disappear. They take her around the corner. You hear a vehicle fire up. And he goes, now that's our cue to get out of here. I've got a van myself waiting for us. We could talk on the road. We definitely don't want to be here when NYC PD shows up. So you done fiddling there, Professor Kronos?
Yes, jolly good.
He looks over at Sherwood. He's like, you gonna make it? You look a little worse for wear there, son. A little crispy.
Sherwood responds by pulling out a flask, pouring some tea into a small little canteen.
He goes,
just dandy.
Right. All right. We'll find your other two friends. I'm sure they'll pop up with Trevor Fitzroy somewhere, but we got to clear the area right now. So he leads you out to the street, and for the first time, within this corridor, within this courtyard, it didn't really seem all that unnatural, but you come out of this alleyway and you are in New York City, 2023, having just left the Isle of Rhodes in 1943. You see cars and motorcycles going up and down the streets, the likes of which you've never seen. The sheer mass of humanity is almost overwhelming. You hear and see helicopters in the sky, unlike any that you've ever seen before, and planes flying even higher. Nick just says, bear with me. It's 80 years in your future from where you were yesterday. At least that's what the kid told me before he took off. It's 2023. He opens the side panel of this van. Just get in. I've got someplace safe to take us, and we can talk on the way. And he looks over.
You say?
2023, yes.
Sherwood just looks around and goes, not again, and gets in the van.
It's official. I've lived through 2 lots of changes of the thousands.
Right, that's
Get
right.
in the van.
You've been around for almost ever. At least that's what the kid said.
Yeah. And he gets in the van.
This will be nothing new for you then. And he shouts out up to the driver, says, Phil, take us to the safe house.
I think Professor Kronos might have to be pulled into the van because he's just standing there looking at everything going. Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
I feel like Lance would grab him by the
we'll
collar.
just put
Come
him in.
on.
Brilliant.
So the three of you are in the back of this panel van, and you're driving off, and he goes, and Nick is sitting in the passenger front seat. And he's looking over his shoulder. So we're going down the southeast part of Manhattan, on Yancey Street. A friend of mine, a poker buddy of mine, has given us an open-ended lease for you for the building. It's a 4-story brownstone. It'll be where you're living. It'll be your safe house, your headquarters, whatever you want to call it. Ben moved back into the Baxter building, so the building is all yours. It's a little weird. It's a little bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Used to be a lot bigger, but that all, according to Reed and Ben, it got collapsed back down to mostly its normal size. There are basements and there is a connection to the subway, but I'll show you all that when we get there. Listen, I know this is a lot to take in.
So we're in a different reality to our original reality. We're not just in the future, right?
That is correct. This is according to Reed and Strange and Xavier, all the think tank fellas. A multiverse exists. Every time there's a significant change, anytime somebody makes a significant decision that alters the future, a branch splits off and you have a different world. So you come from an Earth that, according to them, is labeled Earth. Oh God, let me check my notes. 56438. And you are on now Earth 616. Don't ask me what that means because I don't know.
I know what that
Do
means.
we know what? Do
It
we
means
know
all
what
my
the
resources are
significant?
gone.
Well, I was about to say the same thing. I wonder if the me in this reality is still alive and has his mansion and his estate and his money.
Well,
but that aside, do we know what the significant event was from our own reality that might have
actually,
caused this
I
reality,
can tell
or
you
vice
that.
versa?
Yeah, I do actually. Iron Kid and the all new Wasp, Nadia, they kind of filled me in on a little bit because I knew you'd have questions. One, they wanted to reinforce the fact that the reason you're so critical to this fight, whatever this fight is going to be, is because Operation Pendragon, all of you are singular in the multiverse. You have no variants. You don't exist on this world. You never existed on this world. There was a Lancelot, but he did not physically manifest in this world. He was just a fictional character. You never existed here. That answers your first question. Second, during the Cold War, after the end of World War II, Hydra, the forces of Hydra, were actually able to seize control of the United States, declare martial law, and become an authoritarian dictatorship, and now rule in 2023, rule your world almost completely. that Captain America that died was one of the last freedom fighters from your world coming through to try to stop the subjugation and conquering of this Earth by your Earth.
So in our timeline, our Earth is taken over by Hydra in this Cold War, during this Cold War. And
Yeah.
What
the
made it cold?
incursion was in fact not this world influencing another. It was our world trying to attack yours.
That's correct. My understanding is something is happening in your world that's making the forces of Hydra and the higher agents of Hydra decide they needed to look for a new home. And apparently they decided to settle on this one. So that incursion that you stopped was their first foray, or at least the first foray we've registered into their attempt to cross a force over to take control
And now
of this world.
this wristband will enable us to sense other incursions from our
That's
reality.
what Nathaniel said. He said that should help you be able to track this stuff down. I couldn't make it work.
Fascinating, but deeply troubling.
Yeah.
But back to my question: what made it a Cold War? Why was it cold?
That's a term we use. So you guys won, the Allies won World War II in your world, just like we won World War II here. We stopped the Nazis, we stopped the Axis powers, so did you. But what happened after that is the Soviet Union in both worlds became a very powerful country that directly opposed the efforts of the Western nations, Great Britain, France, the United States, etc. They never actually fired upon one another. There was never an actual war, but there was espionage and the attempt to Cold War, because we never actually got into a shooting war. But during that time period, Hydra was able to take over the United States and still has an iron grip on it, according to what Nathaniel and Nadia told me in our brief meeting.
Well, that's no good.
But you've got an opportunity to save this world, and they told me that if you manage to save this world, you may be saving your own as well. To be honest, like I said, this is I'm just an old soldier and spy. This is a little above where I think this is more Reed Richards territory, but I trust everybody who's given me some advice on this, so I'm going to trust you to be able to do the right thing.
You still have tea here, right?
Yeah, you can get tea. I'm not guaranteeing it's going to be
God.
tea you like, but you can get tea. There's a great little Chinese restaurant actually pretty close to where you're at, and they've got really great green tea.
Quirk an eyebrow.
The look of disgust was amazing.
I think all three of us shot the same look at the same time.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Yes. Well, perhaps we'll be able to find some British imports in this future.
Absolutely. There's there's a couple of British pubs in the area too. I don't know if they've got good tea or not. Based on your needs, but we'll get you set up. And I'm here to tell you, Herbie can brew up, I'm sure, a mean cup of tea once you tell him what you need. But hold on. And the van stops, slide door opens, and you're on this pedestrian street. And in front of you is this 4-story tall brown building, like a row house. He goes, "This is 4 Yancey Street. This is going to be your home, safe house, and headquarters for the foreseeable future." And he walks up to the front door. He's like, "Come on, we've got to get you guys logged in." And over to the right of the door, you just see this brickwork, but he puts his hand against a spot on the brickwork, and the bricks kind of shimmer and disappear, and there's a very advanced technological control panel there. And he puts his eye against it, and you see these beams come out and register his retina as his handprint is being registered. Then he says a phrase, and then you see the sensors. It's almost like small pinpricks against the palm of his hand. And then you hear this disembodied voice say, "Genetic, voice, finger, and retinal prints match No potential shapeshifter incursion. Welcome back, Nick Fury. And then Nick says, he gives it an override code that ends in Grim Clobber. And then the voice says, authorization for new owners enacted. And then he says, okay, one at a time. You guys come up. Put your palm where my palm was. Look into that little device. Say anything you want to say. You're going to feel a little prick on your hands, but this is going to biometrically register you to the house. When your other two pals show up, if they show up, I'll give you the command code so you can do this for them as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting into this place, even with a tank.
Kind of look at Kronos to go first because this is very advanced technology, and
Professor Kronos will look at it and kind of say, it appears to be some sort of retinal scanning device. And he puts his hand on it and he says, God save the king.
And once again, you hear the disembodied voice go, Professor Kronos, registered as new resident / owner. And you each go through this. And then once you've done that, the door unlocks and opens. And you're in a foyer. And floating right behind the front door is this robot. It's a silver cylindrical robot floating on repulsor pads with a kind of oblong head on top and glowing yellow eyes.
the armor activates because last time I saw something floating in the sky, it was a big Hydra agent trying to kill us.
Oh dear. Sir Lance, no need for that. I'm Herbie. I'm here to make sure that all of your needs are taken care of whenever you're at 4 Yancey Street, your new home. Please do come in. Watch the floors. We try not to scuff dirt and blood and debris in, but if you do, I'll clean it up. And it floats back a few paces.
And you all see Lance like sort of look over his shoulder and he's like, yes, this is very weird. Don't ask me. I didn't ask to come here. You can't see him talking to you can't see him talking to anyone. He's definitely talking to someone.
And Herbie kind of spins in the air. I didn't register who you were speaking to. Were you speaking to me, Mr. Lance?
No.
Excellent. Well, do come in. There are rooms for all of you. Please feel free to pick out a room as you want. They're common areas. And if you follow me, gentlemen, I'll lead you through. Nick, will you be staying for dinner? I will put together some gumbo. Nick looks, he's like, no, Herbie, I've got some things I need to take care of. Gentlemen, one last thing before I leave. Reed Richards, leader of the Fantastic Four, technically they own this building. They're superheroes like you, good guys, upstanding. Professor Kronos, I'm sure when you meet him, you'll really get a kick out of him. He's an egghead like you are. Once I explained to Ben Grimm, the thing, he's another member of the Fantastic Four, that I needed a safe house for you all, and he gave up Yancey for Yancey Street here. Well, Reed realized that you might have a need for something to help you adjust to the last 80 years. So in each of the rooms, he's got an osmosis generators. While you're asleep, it's basically going to upload history of the last 80 years, cultural changes, technological changes. So he said within 4 days, probably, you'll feel right at home here in 2023. He said the first couple of nights, you probably wake up with a pretty bad headache, but after that, the next couple of nights should just be filling in the gaps. I know it sounds crazy, but I trust this guy. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. He says you have to voice activate it when you lay down in your bed. And at that point, he says it's some sort of techno telepathy that he's figured out with another guy named Forge, who you may meet, and Professor Xavier, who's, well, I'm not going to get into that right now. Let's just say that the tech should be solid if you want to make use of it. Otherwise, a lot has changed in the last 80 years. At that point, Herbie chimes up, "Oh, yes, indeed. Or, if you'd like, I can just regale you with all of the history for the last 80 years. My batteries are good. I can chatter on 24/7 and get you caught up myself."
Okay, I mean, do we? I'm assuming the currency here is still, I believe, dollars used by the Americans. Unfortunately, I only have shillings on me. I'm not sure that would work particularly well at the local shops.
Oh, yeah, listen, the money is definitely not going to be any good. There's going to be a lot of things to change. People don't even really use cash anymore. Like I said, steep learning curve. But bear with me. Somebody else is going to be coming by tomorrow morning to kind of help out a little bit. Just hunker down here. Wait to see if your friends show up. I've got eyes and ears all over the city looking for them. And then tomorrow you'll be meeting with a young woman. Her name is Jen Walters. She's an attorney. She's going to help get some other things settled for you. And then it'll just be up to you to wait on the next incursion. Do you got any questions of me? I mean, my number is in all of your phones at this point. Oh, I forgot. Herbie's going to give you your phones here in a little bit.
What kind of phone? I can't see anything. He's looking around the walls to see.
Yeah, it's not looking for like a full-on telephone.
Big old
Nick pulls out a pretty small smartphone, and he taps his ear, and then he taps it open. It actually has a holographic screen that projects up. It's about the size of a laptop. He goes, "Yours isn't going to be quite this fancy, but I need to do a lot more. But it's a phone. Like I said, 80 years of technology to catch up on. Strongly recommend you take advantage of Reed's learning device,
brain machine,
your brain machine. Hey, by all means, have Professor Kronos take a look at it. He may be able to make you feel more comfortable about it. Or if your other friend shows up, I heard she's a telepath, she might be able to. But regardless, Jen Walters, tomorrow morning after breakfast, will be showing up here. She'll be able to help you out more. If you really are having problems and you can't figure your phones out by that point, have Herbie give me a call and I'll come. But please stay here at least for a day while I get some other things squared away for you, like some identification and everything else, because right now you're illegal aliens. And
have you know I'm not an alien?
Not an alien.
Nor am I illegal. I'm British.
Again, 80 years of differences. That just means you're in the country without
one of us
having
actually an alien.
Oh yeah, two of you are actually aliens, but that's neither here nor there. So, like I said, a lot to take in. Relax a little bit, have some dinner. Herbie's a hell of a cook. And Jen Walters tomorrow. And if you need anything else, have Herbie call me. Okay. I've got to take care of another issue. And he's backing out the door as he's talking to you, as if he's just trying for the moment to get away because he doesn't want to answer any more questions. Door shuts behind him, and when the door shuts, it disappears. Herbie looks at you. All right, my masters. What is it that we can do first to help you feel more comfortable in your new home?
Show me where the kettle is.
Query. Kettle. Oh, of course. Come with me to the kitchen, Sir Sherwood. And he takes you up a flight of stairs, and there's a large open area. And you see this enormous kitchen with multiple nice gas burners, a giant kitchen, counter spaces everywhere. This huge ice box, you assumed. You've never seen anything like it. And then over on one corner is what looks like a giant poker table. You recognize it because there are still poker chips on it. And Herbie takes you into the kitchen. He's like, I believe this is what you're looking for. And he points at a Keurig. It's an automatic dispenser of hot water used with instant coffee and tea.
I see. And where are the teacups?
Teacup. Yes, I believe Sue had some teacups stored upstairs. And it takes you up another flight of stairs. And you can tell, having seen this building from the outside, that it is at least twice as large on the inside than it is on the outside. And he takes you to some cupboards and you find these boxes of china. Miss
Well,
Sue uses these for special occasions, but it is your home now, Sir Sherwood.
well, these belong in the kitchen, which is where we will be making the tea. And I'll pick up a box and take it back down to the kitchen.
Absolutely.
And then empty my webbing, my tea rations out of my pockets.
Lance hasn't moved from where the front door was because he's still investigating where the front door's gone.
And you hear a disembodied voice above you. You hear Herbie's voice above you. What is it that I can do for you, Master Lance?
Oh, no, please stop. Where are you?
Oh, the house itself is a smart house. I'm interconnected throughout the entire house. There are holographic and image and audio processors in all the walls and ceilings. My body is currently with Mr. Sherwood as I learn how to make tea.
Okay. Well, where's the front door gone?
That is a security precaution. The front door is still there, but it seals behind a force barrier when it's closed to... Although it simulates the exterior of a building when you approach, the actual interior walls are force barriers to prevent anything like the last incursion that happened that caused the absolute destruction of this building and the folding of most of its space. So during the reconstruction, additional security parameters were put in place.
So we're not prisoners? We could leave if we wanted to.
Oh, simply say front door.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure. See, Morgan, we're not prisoners. Righto. Okay, well, I suppose I'll have a cup of tea then. Up the stairs, was it, to the kitchen?
Absolutely,
And
Mr. Lance. And may I inquire, is there a Mr. or Miss Morgan that I should be addressing myself to as well?
No, you don't have to address Morgan in any way, shape, or form. Right. Can I just say though, you don't have any visual equipment in our bedrooms, right?
The entire building is fit with sensor systems. I can see and hear into every room. However, if you wish to have your room disengaged during certain periods, all you have to say is ask me to please disengage security for my room.
Right. Okay. Well, can we just make that as a standard for my room, please?
Standard rule applies for Mr. Lance's room. Security has been disengaged.
Thank you. Oh, you're quite helpful.
I'm here to serve you.
Up to the kitchen to get a cup of tea.
And Professor Kronos, what is it that you're doing while Sherwood and Lance are having a cup of tea?
Professor Kronos really doesn't like the idea of not being rich. As a British aristocrat, he's kind of thinking, well, now I'm in another dimension, out of time, I have no funds, and I'm wondering if I could do a spot of time travel.
You can.
Because basically I need to build up my estate again so I can have the equivalent of my lab access and rich and headquarters again, though technically we've got this headquarters.
Yeah,
I miss my old mansion.
You do have lab access. This building does have full labs in it, so you have that.
Oh, it does have full labs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's much bigger on the inside than the outside. And you haven't even looked at any of the basement levels yet.
Okay. Well, I might wait till we get some identification then, and then I will start considering, bending the laws of time a little. But in the meantime, I'm going to explore.
Okay.
So I will be exploring this building, and I'm going to have a little nose around and
So as you're looking around, you find, there are probably 15 bathrooms in here. There's close to 20 bedrooms on the upper floors. You see the big, large kitchen area and an entertainment area, and the big poker table, where the others are having tea. Then downstairs in the entryway looks like a more of a formal reception area, and a reading room, and a formal dining room. And then down in the basement, there are 4 basement levels, and they all have, one is like a training area, a full gym and sparring area, shooting range, everything you could imagine. The lower levels are different types of laboratories. And then there's the largest sub basement is an access way that actually leads out to a subway platform. You see when you get there, you see this huge underground train, much more advanced than anything you obviously saw in the 40s. But once again, once you come back through, that wall just seems to fill in. So as you're going forward, the corridor just kind of opens up and leads out to the subway station. And then as you make your way back in, it just kind of closes up. So from the subway station, no one would ever be able to figure out that there was an access point from here.
Okay.
So while you're exploring and you guys are having cups of tea, the afternoon winds down. It gets to evening. By the way, there's a full medical bay in one of the sub basements too. You guys are pretty tired, beat up. You make your way into the bedrooms that you've selected, either with your security on or your security off. Are you taking advantage of the learning systems that were put in place by?
Okay. Yes,
definitely.
No.
Okay. So
I'd also like to use the shower.
Lance disengages it. Oh yeah, I mean, you guys, your rooms are suites basically. They're like 800 square feet apartments. There's rooms. There's your own sitting room. There's a full bathroom. There's a small kitchenette. You could basically survive in your room all by yourself for as long as you want it. They're enormous. Get showered, cleaned up. The two of you, when you go to sleep, you almost fall asleep immediately as this information begins to download into your minds. The night passes pretty painlessly, but when you do wake up in the morning, both Sherwood and Professor Kronos, you do have a mild headache. It's nothing too bad, but you have a complete understanding of 2023, of the technology, of the currency, of the state of the world affairs, and history going back probably 15 years. So it's obviously giving you the most relevant information up front and then filling in the historical information behind it. You also know the key players in the superhero biz, so to speak, almost like a laundry list of who you might encounter, focusing mainly at the moment on New York City, and then spreading out. So you think you're probably like your historical information gaps will fill in over other nights. You may get more information about heroes, villains, and organizations as additional nights pass. You sit around. Herbie serves you a delicious breakfast. Everything you could really ask for. Groceries were delivered in the night at some point, something you'd never, unexpectedly, but he puts together a very nice breakfast for you. And as he's cleaning up, he says, "Oh, gentlemen, Miss Jennifer Walters is at the front door. Would you like to give her access? She is expected."
She's the lawyer, right?
That is correct, sir.
Well, I would assume that she's here to help us. So, and Nick did say she was coming, right?
Do we have any information about her from our sleep download?
Actually, both of you do. You realize that she is an attorney, that she is the attorney of record for the Fantastic Four, for their corporation, and for the team itself. You also know that she has a public identity as a superhero herself, known as the She-Hulk, that she is a gamma mutate and has the ability to transform into an incredibly powerful woman. However, the last several years, based on the information you have that you can access now, she's been trying to distance herself from the superheroing and focus more on superhero law.
Okay, yeah. let her in.
Yeah, let her in.
Front door opens and you see a woman in her late 20s. She's got long brown hair. She's about 5'10". It's pulled back in a bun. She's wearing a very conservative but nice business suit. She's got a briefcase under in her hand. She goes, "May I assume that I'm speaking to members of Operation Pendragon?"
Certainly. Would you like a seat?
Yeah, we
Ah,
need to come
thank
up with
you.
a better name
Thank you, thank you.
Enchanté.
for modern times. Says Professor.
Given
Well, she
we're
goes,
not
"I
in an
can help
active
you with that."
conflict, that might not be a bad plan.
Yes.
I mean, you
Lance
could
goes
always
on
shorten
full
it to
British
just
gentleman and-
Pendragon if you'd like.
Lance goes full on British gentleman and kisses her hand. Enchanté. Welcome to our new home, away from home.
And she goes, thank you. And you must be Mr.
Lance.
Yes, I've got.
Would you
There are
like
two of
tea?
your members who are coffee if you have it. Herbie goes, "Of course, Miss Walters. I'll bring you a cup of coffee straight away."
Were we given changes of clothes, or are we still in what we were wearing when we appeared?
You're still in what you were wearing when you
Okay.
appeared, but she goes, "I'm here to help Nick and Sue Storm. She's a member of the Fantastic Four. She's one of the, in my opinion, she's the senior officer. She's the CFO of Fantastic Four Incorporated. They recognized that you were going to need more than a bolt hole. So Sue authorized me to set up something." And she pulls out this legal paperwork and some notebooks. And she goes, "This is an incorporation document incorporating your company as a limited liability corporation under the name of Operation Pendragon, with which each of you as officers of the corporation are able to make decisions and distinctions for the corporation as need be. It is a subsidiary corporation of Fantastic Four Incorporation. You've been given an operating budget of $10 million drawn on this bank for living expenses. You're supposed to operate your limited liability corporation as a heroic operation. In other words, you provide support to the city of New York, the state of New York, and the United States of America, and the world as necessary, as requested, if it is in keeping with the highest states of honor and requirements as stated in the original overarching document for Fantastic Four Incorporated." Listen, this is a lot of boilerplate, and I'm going to leave it with you. But if you sign it, it basically means that you're protected to a certain extent against anybody coming after you legally, that the Fantastic Four Incorporated will be providing you some shelter and resources. You'll have $10 million as an initial operating fund, and you'll be able to draw on that money as needed for clothes and necessities and the like.
Wow. Okay. That seems a lot. I assume that there's terms and conditions and bits and pieces we need to read and all this.
Well, by all means, please take your time to read it. I'm here to help you. I actually have scheduled some tailors to come by to help you.
Oh, fantastic!
Acclimate a little bit to the environment here. So I'm here with you for the afternoon. I am your attorney. I'm representing the corporation of Pendragon in all facets. So I'm here to help you. I'm aware of the anachronistic situation that you find yourselves in. So feel free to ask me any questions as well. Hell, I was here just last week playing poker with Luke and Logan and Ben. So I spent a lot of time here, or have in the past. So whatever you need, I'm here to help you. The only obligation you are under based on these corporate documents is that in the event that an incursion happens from your world, you're to respond to it. Any other heroics you want to undertake as officers of this corporation are well within your purview, but the only required actions are to respond to incursions from your Earth.
Okay. That seems, in its basis, very simple.
But by all means, please do read the documents. I'm here to answer any questions. I made it as simple and as clear as possible to ensure there's no misunderstandings. Basically, Sue and Reed. Reed's more forgetful, but Sue is definitely trying to set you up for success in this. She knows that you're isolated from your home and from your time, and she wants to make sure that you're taken care of. It's the least she could do for Nathaniel.
Okay. Yeah. And he just and Lars just scribbles on it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'd pick it up and actually start reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Lars scribbles and then goes and has some more breakfast and some tea.
I'm just sat there in the chair sipping tea.
And there's no deviation from what she said. The document is very straightforward. It's basically just a vehicle to enter you into this time with some resources at hand. After you sign it, Lance, she actually pulls out for you a British passport, an American driver's license, a whole bunch of social security card, different things. She goes, you're technically a British citizen. You're a permanent resident of the United States. We worked with WITSEC to get your identification set up and backstopped. So anybody searching into you, you will be identified as belonging here. And you see, they've got your passport, looks immaculate. It's a British passport. Your picture's in it. Your U.S. driver's license. She goes, you're definitely going to want to take an opportunity to drive some of the newer vehicles. I'm happy to help you with that. It's a little different than the vehicles you guys drove in the 40s. But if you're downloading the information from Reed, you should actually be okay with all of it.
I didn't drive in the 40s. I probably won't drive now.
No, that's fine. That's fair enough.
Let's just say things have moved on rather somewhat from a Kubelwagen.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Well, Taylor's will be here shortly. Do you have is there anything else that I can help you with, gentlemen? Help you acclimate to your time?
Yes, at the moment I'm using my rationed tea. I understand that there are specialty shops that we could obtain more from. Could you point me in the direction? That'd be smashing.
Absolutely. How about this? After the tailors come and get you measured and set up for whatever sorts of wardrobes you'd like, I actually know a very nice tea shop owned by an elderly British couple. They're Indian, but I mean they're from Great Britain. I'll take you down there, and they actually, you can set up and purchase whatever teas you would like.
Oh, that's absolutely marvelous. Thank you very much.
I'm here to help you guys. From what Nick tells me and what Sue tells me, you may be the answer to a crisis we don't even know is coming. So,
well, let's hope so.
Yes, it does seem that there is a rather large amount of pressure piled upon us at this moment in time.
Well,
just not the first time.
There are other resources here. You're not alone. I mean, you've already met Nick. You've got the Fantastic Four in your corner. I'm here to help you. You can call on any of us at any time, and if we can be here to help you, we will be. Of course, having said this, I mean, the Reed and the guys actually just disappeared into the neutral, into the negative zone earlier today, but they'll be back shortly. So they're popping off all for scientific investigations all the time.
I'm looking at Kronos at this point.
Professor Kronos shrugs a little.
So we see the day pass, the tailors come, you get outfitted. She takes you guys all around this neighborhood. You find the tea shop. You find, she takes you to the local market, to the newsstand. She takes you to a nice pub, and you have a nice dinner out. She answers your questions and everything. She strongly recommends that you dial into Reed's machines to get caught up. But if not, you can take your time and do it on your own. It gets towards evening, and that evening, the panel van pulls back up. You see Nick open the slide door. and you see Kingdom Quake lumber out of the side of the panel van and Lodestar right next to him. Come to find out, Fitzroy's time portal just dropped him 5 days in the past before you arrived here. So your friends have been in a holding cell at FBI headquarters as suspected supervillains. As soon as I checked it out, as soon as I heard that they had disappeared, I was able to track him down, got him freed. They're good to go. I've already given them their identifications from Jennifer. I briefed them on the way over here. They're a little tired, a little salty, but give them the lay of the land, get them set up in the security systems, have Herbie give them a stiff drink, and just relax for a while. Get used to New York. Enjoy Manhattan, at least until that silver bracelet you're wearing starts to hum.
Well,
Are we good to go,
thank you.
Pendragon?
As
Of course.
ready as one can be in the given situation.
Excellent, excellent. All right, Phil, we're out of here. And he gets back in the van. You guys help Kingdom Quake and Lodestar up into the house. Show them around. Herbie, his cheerful self, totters after all of you. The next day, the Taylors come by again to help out Kingdom Quake and Lodestar. Jen Walters shows up again and takes you out for a nice evening. And the week passes like that. And then another few days pass like that. And then in the morning, on a Wednesday, you've been here for 10 days. Those of you who have taken advantage of the knowledge dumps are completely caught up now on this world's history, technology, current levels of information, and feel like you could easily function in this time. Lance, you're still a little overwhelmed, but you're getting there.
He's lived through multiple. He's lived
Yeah,
thousands of years now.
You're,
at this
you're
point,
picking
so-
it up. You're picking it up. Pretty
he's
quick on
trusted,
your
but
own.
also he's already got one other voice in there. He doesn't need another like program chucking a load of more information. That's the his pure reason for not using it. Obviously, he's
I
not said
love
that to anyone else, but his pure reason for not using it is because he already has somebody in there annoying him. He doesn't need something else going in there to annoy him. So he takes his time to adapt. So he takes the 11 days. He's sort of using the internet, which he finds a marvelous creation. Looking at everything, and he uses the internet and things and tries to learn as much as he can do. But otherwise, he's going to rely on all the people that have used it, and he'll adapt over time.
I like it. And then that Wednesday morning, Professor Kronos, the silver band on your wrist starts to vibrate, and you feel it sync with the temporal vibrations within your own body. And then this little bracelet seems to liquefy and becomes a bracer from your elbow down to your wrist. And then a screen a holographic screen hovers above it, and you see a map of New York City. And then you see this pulsing dot. It's north of the Lincoln Tunnel in an area called Hell's Kitchen. And it's pulsing and pulsing. And you know that an incursion from your Earth has just occurred. And that is where issue 1 of the Cataclysm of Kang, featuring Operation Pendragon, is going to end for this evening. So for my players and for anybody watching it here on TikTok or if you're watching it later on YouTube, yes, we kind of skipped over the rank 1 adventure for the Cataclysm of Kang. We started this episode at the climactic battle for the rank 1 adventure, but that's because I wanted to start all of our heroes at rank 2. Also, we were all excited to play this game, so we wanted to start it before the Cataclysm of Kang came out. And I love World War II Marvel Comics. I love the Invaders and I love Battle Access. So I wanted to give us all an opportunity to play in World War II for a couple of sessions before we get into the Cataclysm of Kang. If you join us next week, either here live on TikTok or on YouTube, you'll be able to pick up Twitch. See, I'm an old man and all these social medias kind of wrangle in my brain.
We need one of those download beds for
we
us
need one
to
of those
keep up with
download
everything.
things for me, because
I mean, I think we all need one.
I'm
Yes.
slightly decrepit. But yes, on Twitch. But so next week we will see issue 2 of the Cataclysm of Kang. The title of the comic is Friendly Neighborhood, and we will be starting the rank 2 adventure for the Cataclysm of Kang. So thank you everybody for joining us here live on Twitch or over on YouTube later. If you get an opportunity, come back tomorrow at the same time, and you'll get to see Pete, the great Garblag himself, will be continuing to run his own game, Heroic Deeds. It's an old school feel with modern mechanics. He's taking his players through the Red Hand of Doom, a classic adventure. If you like what you see and you're interested in the game, you can go to DriveThruRPG and download the quick start of it for free and see what it's all about. I'm pretty sure you're going to see Pete put it out on Kickstarter here at some point for the entire version. I can't wait to get my hands on it and run it myself. Then come back around next Tuesday and see what we've got on. It's to be determined at this point, but we may be running some December one-shots for everybody. If you're in North America or if you have insomnia in the UK and you want to see some more role-play game shenanigans, you can join a friend of the channel, The Adventures in Lollygagging, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be playing some Warhammer 5e, where I'll be a werewolf, which makes me smile. And then on Friday, if you're a fan of Warhammer Wednesdays, on Friday, I will be continuing to run Cubicle 7, Warhammer 41K, Wrath and Glory, Litanies of the Lost, where our group of adventurers are dealing with a Nurgle infestation on a Space Hulk. So fun is to be had by all, and possibly some death to players, because I am running the game after all. So once again, thanks everybody for watching. If you get a chance, you want to talk to all of us or interact with us, there's also Gartopia, our Discord channel. You'll be able to find it in the links here. Come join the Discord. We're always willing to chat about all sorts of things, role-playing games, movies, TV, etc. And we'd love to have you. So that's all the blathering I'm going to do now here on Twitch, not TikTok. And we will see you next week at the same Marvel time, same Marvel channel. Good night, everybody.